Welcome back, everyone, to the Week 1 Heat Chat. And as always, I'm here on the Funhouse back deck on a pleasant and slightly cool mid-September evening. And with me is Justin Bucha.
Are you ready?
And we are fresh off of a just
not so happy week one for a lot of us.
Oh yeah, I was going to say we're fresh off of a violent campaign from which we are still physically recovering.
Yes.
I was like, yeah, how was your weekend,
Sunday.
Bucha? Obviously, you had fun watching your Dolphins win what was probably the most objectively entertaining game of the week against the Chargers.
Back and forth.
I had totally forgotten how much those fan bases snipe back and forth at each other, apparently, over like where they drafted their respective quarterbacks.
Yep. There was another Dolphin fan there, and they went up one, and the guy looked at me. He's like, "Would have had Herbert." But everything worked out.
Yep. So certainly it puts you in pole position to avoid a smoker's cough. Because my beloved Steelers got boat raced by the 49ers. Enough about real football. Let's get down to fantasy football. As I just mentioned, the Niners really had themselves a day. And Brock Purdy looked better than competent. Brandon Ayuk looked like Superman. Although Christian McCaffrey was largely bottled up, he did break off one 65-yard touchdown run, and if you can do that, what the hell else do you need?
Still think the Ayuk thing, that's a fluke. He's not getting nearly 30 points ever again.
Averaging 30 seems like a steep ask, but he's definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with. The Niners defense shut the Steelers down to the tune of, I think, 2 interceptions, a couple of sacks, 7 points allowed. So they probably scored, I don't know, somewhere in the teens. And all of those people I just mentioned are on Dion's fantasy team. So all that shit I was talking about, what a terrible strategy it is to draft all these guys. Seems to me maybe there was more than one football.
Say hello to my little friend!
Although I was made to look a fool during the actual game, you had to bear the brunt of Dion's fantasy offensive.
Yeah, pretty much just in one game.
Yeah, how much? I don't want to do well, actually we can.
61. Yeah, 91 out of 149.
So like 66% or thereabouts.
Yeah.
That's fucking insane. But yeah, okay. So that was certainly one of our noteworthy results. I got another one. I noticed this on Saturday, and then on Sunday morning I noticed that it still hadn't changed. That Mark was fielding 0 defenses, and Christian Watson, who was injured. So I put a little prod out there in the chat, and then I got a little notification that said, Mark G has made a roster update. I'm like, okay, good. And then I only found out later that what he'd done was put the Bears defense in and left Christian Watson in. The Bears scored 0 points as a fantasy defense, and Christian Watson obviously scored 0 points. And can you tell me, Bucha, what the final score of that fantasy matchup was?
67.5 to 66.7.
So that was a differential of
0.8.
Lost by 0.8 in an absolute low-scoring snoozer to the defending champ, Nick Baranowski, in 1/5. I mean, listen, man, we want to keep people from getting into dynasties like the degenerates over in Funhouse 1. we can't be making mistakes like this. Oh, well, looky here. We are joined during this Week 1 podcast by our friendly neighborhood bartender, Derek.
What's up there?
Derek, how are you?
Wonderful. How are you?
We're doing very well, thanks. Derek, which we did not get around, we didn't even know this at the time we recorded last. Derek is our newest member of Super Funhouse Fantasy 2 Turbo, and you inherited a team, truly. So you did not draft these guys, but you're going to make the best of it. How did your Week 1 go?
I won. I think I beat Drew handily.
Hi-oh! Who impressed you on your team, Derek?
I made a last-second move to start Brian Robinson for the Commanders.
Oh yeah, the Bullet Club.
He got the first touchdown of the day, I believe.
Oh,
I'm
Right, see it.
thinking of my roster real quick.
Eckler.
Eckler?
Of course, did
Yeah,
what
of
Eckler
course.
does.
Well, now I'm in a bit of a bind because Eckler's questionable with an ankle injury. I also have Aaron Jones, who was questionable. I saw him pull that hammy at the end of the game.
It's a shame because he performed very well too.
Yeah, so, but I do have Madison in my flex. I can move him to one of those two spots. Oh, and Gainwell I have, but he's not playing.
Yeah, I see
tomorrow.
that he's out too.
Yeah, so
Jesus Christ.
I'll just move Madison from the flex to running back, and then,
Yeah, that's good. You got some good receivers
yeah, I'm thinking
on
maybe
your bench you
Odell.
can move in. Yeah.
You know,
Mooney
depending
did
on-
well
Yeah,
last,
Mooney did well. Yeah.
So okay, good. Well, I think very glad to see the newest owner off to a strong start.
Yes, sir. Yep. I'm having fun already.
All right. Excellent. Thank you,
Thank you,
Derek.
gentlemen. Thank you.
You and Clayton both pointed out how one of the cool things about Sleeper is this weekly report thing that they do. And Drew, of course, won one of these awards. He won Most Efficient Owner, which you get when all of your starters outperform all of your bench players. That's good. What's bad is that his starters only scored 71 points. So now that obviously provoked him to have to take some kind of action because that's certainly not sustainable. And I mean, it is Week 1, so maybe some things are going to regress to the mean, maybe they won't. One of the things that happened in that battle was like Derek was starting Mooney, the Bears' number 2 receiver, who greatly outscored DJ Moore.
Yeah.
So that probably annoyed him, and Drew angrily put DJ Moore on the chopping block. And our dear friend Clayton was only too ready to oblige. Clayton put up Michael Thomas, and there have been no dissenting votes, so that trade's going to go through.
I think it's an even trade because I think DJ Moore is definitely going to step it up. And honestly, I think Michael Thomas is going to stay at that level.
Thomas did okay. I don't have his numbers right in front of me, but I believe he had a pretty decent Week 1.
First
10
first
points or so.
game in 3 years, I guess.
Yeah. Looked good, but that's the thing about Michael Thomas. He always looks good when he's out there. It's unreasonable to think DJ Moore is not going to produce. That guy's really good. I think they were playing in rain too, weren't they? That Chicago Green Bay game. Maybe I'm wrong. I feel like half the league was playing in rain, so Clayton's probably getting a guy who's going to end up being a pretty steady producer. Michael Thomas is probably going to produce more than him, but can't guarantee that he's going to be healthy the whole time.
Yeah, that's another thing with Michael Thomas. I think he's only played like 4 games in the last 2 years.
But him and Calvin Ridley, at least didn't look like they lost a step. Calvin Ridley might even be faster than before.
Definitely looks like it.
Another thing, at least that Drew can comfort himself about, that his beloved Jaguars are looking even more high octane than they were last year. Clayton reached out and because he couldn't be here today, but he suggested maybe we could talk about what are some other overreactions.
Of course, we talked about how the 49ers, that's an overreaction. How we're like, yeah, and they
Is
just
drafting
decided-
5 49ers a good idea? The overreaction? Yes. But I think another overreaction probably is the Green Bay offense is good. Mark, who we mentioned having had a pretty bad day, lost Aaron Rodgers. He kind of exemplified that that idea by immediately dropping Rodgers, picking up Jordan Love, and then he immediately dropped Jordan Love and added, I think, Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud? C.J. Stroud. So he kind of like immediately swerved on the Green Bay offense. So let's look ahead to week 2. I've circled a couple of interesting matchups. We just heard from Derek. I actually am facing Derek in both Funhouse 1 and Funhouse 2 in the same week. How serendipitous. Of course, you mentioned Austin Eckler is listed as questionable right now. So that's definitely his highest offensive producer, barring Josh Allen. So that's probably the main thing to watch. If he can get a healthy Austin Eckler,
could definitely
we'll
be the factor there.
Yeah.
And you don't get a third fall for this one. It's two tries and that's it. So.
Yep, 2 bites. I may be totally eschewing the defense streaming strategy this year. The Cowboys scored 38 points for me in the absolute steamrolling of the New York Giants, which I was so happy, by the way, that I was so happy that happened. Not because I particularly like the Cowboys or hate the Giants, but because I was like, please let this game on Sunday night be a fucking laugher, and let it just be absolutely as undramatic as possible and end very quickly, so that our wrestling bullshit will have undivided attention. And lo, it came to pass. And I got 38 fantasy points out of it as well. A battle within your own walls this week. It's you versus Clayton. Break it down and tell me what's going to make the difference.
Break it down.
Honestly, I think what's going to make the difference is obviously I drafted crappy with tight ends. And I think our running backs are going to make a difference because apparently the Lions did not go to Gibbs too much. They went to David Montgomery a lot more.
Yeah, they're kind of trying to do like a smash and dash type thing there. It's working out for them, I guess, on the actual field.
And also right now he has Breece Hall in as his flex, and
right.
He did do more than Dalvin Cook, but maybe they'll give it Dalvin Cook more here and there. You never know.
Hall did break off a couple of big chunky runs.
He did.
And Garrett Wilson, right?
And he has Garrett Wilson, yep.
With Zach Wilson thrown to him, I mean, he's great. I mean, you saw that touchdown catch, right? That was...
He is very talented.
Wow. I was like, I threw a little bit. I think I cut it out of the recording, the post-draft podcast, but I did cast a small aspersion over Clayton's choice to keep Breece Hall and then also draft Garrett Wilson. But I don't know. That might not work out too badly for him either. Miggs, who is co-managing the Hey Yo's with Rob, and they're having a Soto's civil war against Mark. Well, he's got, oh boy, that's Tyler Algier.
He did do good last game.
Yeah, he did. He actually outscored. I think he outscored Bijan Robinson.
It maybe it's been a point or two.
Yeah,
they were both in the 20s.
Yeah, but still, yeah, both solid. Bijan working out well for the mystery men.
Well, I do think the deciding factor there is Mark does have Travis Kelce,
who is supposed to play this week. See that the Hey Yo's have Anthony Richardson starting. Was that the case last week, or did they already bench Justin Fields? They did. They started Justin Fields last week. And
But
so
that was an awful game
yeah.
for Justin Fields.
Yeah, he underperformed, but at 15 points, there was certainly starting quarterbacks who did worse in our league. But yeah, Richardson ran all over the field and put up 20, outscored Mahomes. Jamar Chase shitting the bed along with the rest of the Bengals.
Yeah, they did
in that game, which
Don't even know what happened there.
You want to go back and talk about Week 1 overreactions? There's one for you right there. The Bengals are bad.
Yeah, really bad apparently.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about that. So I think that they're probably the Hayos are due for some positive regression. But then again, so's Mark, so that's going to be a really interesting one to see. The last one I had set up to talk about was back again to Dion. Can he sustain the success of fielding 5 Niners versus can Drew's terrible luck hold? Drew can be filed into the Cincinnati will return to form thing with Joe Fenstermacher or whatever the fuck latest stupid nickname to come out of college he has. Saquon Barkley, who doesn't have to play against the Cowboys this week. Not only that, he gets to play against the Cardinals. Oh,
but
man.
You should be able to run all over them.
Yeah. Now we got a couple of questionables here. You're a Dolphins fan. What's the story with Jalen Waddle?
I don't think it's bad.
Do you expect him to play then?
I think he will play.
Okay. Now DJ Moore is going to be gone by this time, by game time, and he'll have Michael Thomas up in there. All of Dion's games are going to depend a whole lot on how the Niners do. So,
Still think Ayuk is a fluke.
yeah. Well, we'll see.
Ayuk the fluke. I like that.
You want to flick it? Okay.
Last season when we did this podcast, we would usually devote a portion of it to punishment watch, which in week 1 is really a pointless exercise. We did a poll over whether we should stick with the policy last year of the punishment having to be served by whoever finished last in the standings, or as Sleeper gives us the option of having a toilet bowl tournament where the bottom 6 teams compete and the losers of that tournament advance. That is the option that won the vote. I'm actually very excited about the prospect, and the buys work in a reverse way. So the 11th and 12th teams get the buys.
Okay.
And then they have to. They only have 2 opportunities to win a game. Bucha, you had a suggestion that you wanted to put forth to the league as an alternate to the punishment that you selected, which was the Waffle House Challenge.
Yes.
Why don't you tell us about your idea?
Well, I'm sure, especially Danno after Sunday, and everybody else is going to think I'm a crazy ass. But I'm pretty confident I'm not going to be last place. But I wanted to wait till after Sunday when we
Funner
had
Slam.
our Funner Slam to bring this out because we had to keep some stuff hidden. If you ever get a chance to watch the video, Danno pretty much beat me 3 times with a kendo stick in the back. If you don't know what that is, you can
It's
Google
several
it.
strips of bamboo lashed together. And Bucha, I'll tell you, I really didn't hold back much. How did that feel?
It stings.
So your suggestion is
That if I would be in last place, that everybody else, meaning all 11 else managers, would get a shot on my back with that kendo stick.
some element of public humiliation is always a useful spice in these kinds of situations. So, given that Lorenzo, being an owner and thus himself entitled to one of these shots, he's known to play under this hallowed roof from time to time, not only by himself on Sundays, but occasionally with his band Dear Anna on Saturdays usually, or Fridays.
Fridays.
Fridays or Saturdays. in any case, a weekend, which is kind of important. So we could have all of the owners congregate during on a Deer Anna night, and in between every song, you have to take a shot from a different league owner.
And I totally agreed to that.
All right, we'll throw a poll into the group page, and as far as I'm concerned, is if nobody says nay, it's a go.
I'm for it.
Okay. All right. Well, so look for that. In the meantime, guys, I hope I get to see some, if not all of you, at my birthday drinks at Molly's during the early and middle games on Sunday. And other than that, good luck in the games. Have a great week, and we will see you next time.